School of Metal Guitar. There's Jamie Hunt.
He's Pat Heath.
And we're talking about Pantera today. Of course we are.
Yeah, we're going to dig in on all the things that make them crushingly heavy, super groovy, super awesome.
Groove and bounce.
Two really important words, I think, when you talk about Pantera. Often metal bands will go for 16th notes and that drive and feel, which is great. It's a very straight, quantized drive-in motion to it. But Pantera leaned into more triplets. So 8th note triplets and 16th note triplets. 8th triplets give us 3 notes per beat. 2, 3, 4. 16th triplets give us 6 notes per beat. So we get that kind of feel. So regular 16ths, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and triplets. We get that kind of feel to it. So they get the groupings of 3 and 6 within their rhythms quite often. They still lean on 16ths, but they're blending these in as well. And the shuffle feel they get is where you start to emit notes from that. Often if it's a triplet, 8th triplet, you take the second part out, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just do 1, 3, all of them. Those pauses create the groove and the feel, so they lean into that with their metal riffs. So we're going to start by playing 16th triplets, the 6-note version with an E power chord and palm muted at the same time. Look at that. And then after one of those phrases, we play an F power chord at the first fret, unmuted, and then back to our muted E power chord. And then we're going to play back to our E power chord, over to a B flat power chord on the first fret, 5th string, and then between those two chords again.
Yeah.
And it's the spaces from those E power chords which gives it a really strong shape, a bounce to it.
Really well demonstrated. And I should add as well, we are in standard tuning. We're aware that Pantera didn't by any stretch use standard tuning. No, tuning's varied and we're sometimes a little unorthodox, so there's a specific...
Yeah, it's kind of in between tunings, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And we're doing this just so people can play along at home. So we're sticking in E for the moment, but that was really nicely demonstrated. And I think that what's also important about the sound is the unorthodox, shall we say, power chords. And by power chords, I mean intervals that I'm used. It wasn't just fifths, which is a normal power chord. It's things like thirds. And I noticed you're playing, when you showed me this track, the type of chords that you were using were generally things that are attached to things like G major.
Yeah. It's a really a brave place that Dimebag lean into very often, this major third thing, because we think of minor dark qualities with metal music, and yes, the major third sounds positive, right?
Yeah.
Uplifting. But when you move that chromatically, it starts to become really dirgy and not this happy, uplifting thing that you'd be associated with.
Yeah.
So on the turnaround phrases from that riff, we get those major thirds. So that's just 3rd fret, 2nd fret for our major third, drop it down a fret, then 1st fret and open at the end of the sequence. So majors can sound heavy if you move them in a chromatic way.
Yeah, exactly. And also with minor thirds as well. I mean, that's a great riff from that Vulgar Display Power album.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
it's literally, some people call them inverted power chords, but it's a power chord backwards, and that's just, there's so much groove in there. There's so much energy in it. So yeah, I mean that's that riff. Should we play that riff together?
Yep.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Loads of bounce in that though, yeah, you can hear it, yeah.
Then the second turnaround for that riff is arpeggiated chords where the notes ring over each other. And this is very reminiscent of tracks like This Love. So what I'm playing here is the open 6th string, open 4th string, 2nd fret on the 5th string, and letting those ring. Then like with that open E note on the bottom, raise that a fret as the other notes continue to ring. Repick them. Take that same idea from the 3rd fret, so it's 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, ringing over each other. Raise that lower note again, and this time I go to the 6th fret on the 4th string to get diminished sound.
Cool. Let's play the whole thing through.
2, 3, 4.
So within that, basically, you've got the bounce, the groove, the idea that you're taking this.
That feel, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's like the Texas Shuffle, and then you've got riffs like.
You can hear that feel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's that first and third triplet part being emphasised to get that feel and that rhythm. Next we're into the upbeat kind of verse section of the
modulating to F sharp or upper tone, whatever you're tuned to. And this gives that lift that we talked about in other videos, which is great for songwriting. So we've got this part where it's again, we're kind of keeping that feel, and this is just it's like a complete Southern Trendkill type riff. It goes like this. It's a blues riff, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of, as with most of this music, it's sliding, it's moving around the pentatonic scale, and what you're doing is playing off the open string to the 2nd fret and from the 5th fret. And after that we slide up to the 7th fret. And you probably have to practice that a bit independently because it's a tricky part to play, tricky groove, isn't it? So that's the general feel of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then as that goes around, we get this typical dime bag fill at the end of the sequence. So there's the flat 5 again that we love and dime bag love so much. So it's the C on the 3rd fret of the 5th string and the F sharp on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. And then we take that up an octave on the 3rd and 4th string, so 5th and 4th fret.
Very Cowboys from Hell, that's the start of the solo, isn't it?
Yeah. We get that nice little phrase at the end. What I love about that slide, it just pulls it out of the mix, so it's exciting. It like tucks its head above the mix, everybody hears it, grabs your attention, and then back into the riff again.
But he was everywhere, wasn't he? He was kind of down there 1 minute and then cut straight up there in the high registers. Sure. And of course the whammy pedal came in and it really just exaggerated that completely. And by the 3rd album it was kind of, or by...
He knew how to occupy so much space.
Yeah.
He was the rhythm player, the lead player, dropping in fills and excitement and variations all the way through. You really knew how to craft those parts so that it always had groove and attitude and consistency, but it never sounded like it was lacking a second guitar player.
You can't really have a Pantera song without a guitar solo.
Every Pantera song's got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So Dimebag, very attached to his blues roots. Song in E minor. You've got to go for your E minor pentatonic, 12th fret, safety zone for all of us.
Loudest key.
Including Dime, which is reassuring.
Yeah.
So we start by playing the 15th fret of the second string, holding that note, and whilst you hold that note and let it ring, we play the 14th fret of the third string and bend just that note. So there's a note on the B string, doesn't move, only the note on the third string. So, and in doing that, you get this kind of grating, dissonant.
There's some sub-harmonics going on there as well.
It's dirty and filthy.
Yeah.
It's the blues, but so much filth in there, which obviously Dimebag was fully aware of.
Yeah.
So, starts with one of those. Then we're kind of playing off of that pentatonic and then landing on the flat 5. He loved the flat 5, the blues note. So those kind of flavours. To lean into that sound even more so, that little figure. So we're playing off that flat 5 again, root flat 5, E to the B flat, and then slide up to another E on the second string. So really encapsulating that flat 5 in E tonality to what's going on there.
I noticed you do the walk slide thing. I mean, that was like, I remember seeing that video way back in, was it 92, 3, when that album came out, and going, what's he doing there?
Yeah.
I never thought about that
As soon as
before.
that was in the video, as well, every guitar player went, it sounds amazing, it looks amazing, I need to steal it. But the problem is he claimed it.
Yeah.
So therefore everyone was like, everyone knew where it came from.
Yeah.
So the idea is we take an E note on the second string and slide it up the neck, then tap the same E note on the third string and slide that one up the neck and alternate between the two. So, and then when we play our last E note, we slide up an octave to another E. So it's all E notes.
Yeah.
But that texture of sliding and crossing over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a cool thing. And this is something worth thinking about, actually. We often think about loads of technique, loads of notes being the thing that's going to grab people's attention. That's just one E note. It's just what you do with it, how you articulate.
Yeah.
That will say so much more than a million notes.
Yeah, which you do next.
It builds to that, right? So there's a way of doing something interesting and quirky texture to it, but holding back the fire for the conclusion of the solo.
Yeah, the fireworks go off, exactly.
Yeah. With Dimebag, there's a couple of things to take note of here. Stretching is a big part of his intervallic, playing along a single string. So I'm taking the two notes of the E minor pentatonic that we associate with the 12th fret, 12th and 15th fret. And then I hit that B flat, that flat 5 that he loves so much, an alternate pick up and down those notes. But if you alternate that flat 5 with the regular 5, the B, you get those really cool Dimebag nuances.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm playing between those. And then a great thing that Dimebag did, which he openly admitted he'd lifted straight from Eddie Van Halen, is you take a shape and disregard the key and what notes should be played on every string and just play the same intervals that you establish on whatever your starting string is and move it across the strings. So if I'm playing that, it moves in force because of the tuning of the guitar. But the closing lick is really just taking fret 12, 15 and 19 at this point. That's correct. And then moving those frets as a descending sequence. And I've kind of shift between legato and picking for this to get it smooth. And then slide out at the end. And that comes from the school of Van Halen, where if you take Hot for Teacher, that kind of, those intervals.
Repeating patterns.
You know, you get
it's a very easy, difficult thing to do. Or difficult, easy thing to do. It's kind of, there's a bit of both to it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's about getting the physics of it right, but the concept is easy. We can latch onto that and go, okay, a shape that sounds cool, move it across the strings. The key to any of those things is the resolve at the end. So, like, if you start here with the tapping thing, harmonically, that makes sense. So if you finish there, that's cool. If you take the lick that we're doing in the solo here, slide out so there's no dissonant note at the end, and your ears can accept that. And that's the Cowboys run, you know. If you go to a note at the end, whatever you're going to do after that works, we accept all those dissonances and those wrong notes as cool notes. And that's a great trick to have up your sleeve.
What's your riff that you're playing there?
Yeah, we go to a breakdown because we have all the fireworks, and again, Pantera, slowing things down in the middle just to kind of bring that energy back, but bring the weight into it. Saves the kind of the headroom for a big ending. So at this point, we go back to our E, but palm muted. And a key thing to this, it's about silences. It's heavy, but we want to get a silence by bringing your 3 fretting fingers down over the strings in those gaps. So we do a series of those. So an F power chord, repeat that rhythm again. Back to those thirds again. And there's a variation to that phrase. So if I play the sequence. Second time. And I just take that major third interval again so I get to the 4th fret for a bit of dissonance, and then we're out. But against that, you had a really cool texture.
Yeah, I mean, alternate picking is something that can be considered. There's 2 types of practice: unconscious practice and conscious practice. Conscious practice is learning new things, developing your style, and unconscious practice can be described as just drilling something, technique, something where you're sitting down and you're just... Techniques like that where you don't necessarily need to be in the moment. In fact, you probably want to practice that unconsciously because you want to be able to do that live and think about the audience and not have to watch what you're doing all the time or concentrate on it. That needs to be a natural thing. And licks like that, was very much in Dime's repertoire.
Cool, so let's say those 2 parts together. I'll play the heavy, chuggy breakdown riff, you play your textural thing against that. Cool. So, 2, 3, 4.
That kind of thing. That's just, it's rhythmical. He was such a rhythm player. Everything was rhythm guitar with Dime, really, wasn't it?
The end section of the track, we leaned into an idea that I think is a great thing for you to take away for your own songwriting, where often Dime would take fragments of riffs that you've already heard, but turn around on themselves in a slightly different way to almost kind of accelerate the feel of what's going on. So we take the original riff from the track, but just that much of it. So instead of the whole thing, we save that for later on, but to get a new sequence that instantly sounds familiar, we take the first part of that, and then drop in little turnarounds that you've heard already. So I go back to that chordal, this love type idea, but just a part of it. And then back to the quick turnaround version of the riff again. And then at this point, you bring in another staple dime bag fill idea. So the idea here is a 3-note thing. We're going to play the 7th fret of the 3rd string, slide down a fret, and then play the 7th fret on the 4th string. But as we play that, we're going to angle our pick hand so we get that brushing of the thumb again and get a pinched harmonic on that. And then we get that instantly into Cowboys territory. And we just repeat that idea down 1 fret and keep moving it down so we get... And that becomes our second fill there.
Very Slayer as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard a story that Phil took him to his house one day and said, "Here's what we're going to do," and they sat down and listened to Hello Eights or something like that, and then some music came out of that, a mixture of the old school, because there's so much glam in it, and so much melody, and so much Kiss, and then Slayer and Motorhead, and you know, these amazing bands that were injected in, and that's created the sound, really, isn't it?
But you can definitely hear that kind of dissonant Slayer vibe,
descending thing,
for sure. So that's our second turnaround, and then after that point, then we go to the full riff. And then you just get all guns blazing of all the other fills you've not heard yet. So we go back to the kind of the verse reference, straight into the flat 5, one of those, and then back to our descending Slayer slide thing we mentioned from the Cowboys era. And then a bigger to close it. And we've got the whole thing.
Should we do that together?
Deep. Oh.
Pantera was a one guitar band, but we're playing left and right because it sounds full. It sounds there's weight to it. One guitar in each speaker, and you can do it in a 2 guitar band.
But I think what it does really exemplify is he had so many bases covered that 2 guitar players could quite comfortably handle the same amount of information. But that was just one player thinking and seamlessly shifting between all those things. I think it's a great moment to realise just how phenomenal he was.
I think that's it. You've summed it up, because when you get great guitar players, they're not just technicians. Great guitar players can write parts, and I don't mean just riffs or chord progressions, but parts which are kind of they're part of that player. They're part of that sound. You can identify them straight away by the way they compose.
And to bring all this together as well, we were talking about this the other day. I never once saw Dimebag have a gig where he was struggling, ever. He was always on fire, and these shifts from all these different roles and positions that he was holding down, seamless every time, and he still looked cool. He was probably still wasted, but absolutely nailing it every time.
Every night.
What a player.
Yeah, unbelievable.
To try out some of that,
yeah,
but don't be too hard on yourself if you can't do everything Dimebag, because he was a one-off.
Yeah, and if you want to know about the player, I would say go back and listen to what they listened to, listen to what they were into, and you get the essence of it, because it's all there, isn't it?
I mean, they were unashamedly putting their influences on the sleeves, and that was how the music came together. It was their characters, their personality, and then all of their influences right up there going, this is who we are. Yeah. So, but don't be afraid of the music you listen to that inspires you outside of metal. Bring that to the table as well.
Create your thing.